This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Well, there's going to be a lot of bleary-eyed people getting up this morning because the Euros have started now. They started on Friday night, and you wouldn't believe the amount of people. I guess Australia being multicultural,
yes, that's right.
All the Europeans are up watching these games.
Yeah,
and any
they're
soccer
on
lovers,
board. They're on board.
big time on
Yeah,
board.
yeah.
So I think
what's
it was
the latest?
about 3 or 4 this morning where England kicked off their game against Serbia, which they won 1-0.
Nice. So all of our Pommy friends will be happy this morning.
Yes. Our good friend Amy, our producer, she was very happy because Poland... How did they go? No, they
lost.
They lost.
Do you remember? You can't tell the difference between Amy being happy and Amy being sad.
No. I couldn't pick that up this morning. It's early. So there's so many people who are getting stuck into this. I love it.
Yeah.
The passion. And one of my
if you were going to
friends,
pick a team, who do you most align with?
Oh, God. Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, that's got to be the Irish, obviously.
Yeah, with a name like
Yeah.
I guess I said to Amy that I would, in that game, Poland got beaten by Denmark. I'm like, I'm on Denmark's side because my cousin Kate lives in Denmark. So I'll take that.
Works.
Yeah,
I'll
take that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be huge over the next couple of weeks anyway. I look forward to it. And one of the guys I was with yesterday who's mad, he's been involved with the Perth Glory for a number of years. Anyway, he was telling me this is much better to watch, in his opinion, than the World Cup, the standard, because there's so many better European teams in the competition that miss out when the World Cup takes place because you can only have 10.
There's no real easy beats. That's the thing. Even like the fact that Albania they lost ultimately, but they really took it up to Italy. So much that the Albanian fans were snapping pasta in front of Italian fans because that's the biggest insult you can do to an Italian is to break the spaghetti. I love that.
I do like that too. Moving on to the West Coast Fever now. They got over the line yesterday. You were at the game?
I was there yesterday. They played very well against the Swifts. You could tell that they had increased their intensity and their focus. They played really well. The Swifts are in a bit of turmoil though because they've lost their goal shooter. So you could tell that, perhaps they weren't at their 100% best, but it was a good game. The Swifts came back in the last quarter, but it was pretty much over by then.
And speaking of not at their 100% best, the Fremantle Dockers went into Saturday's game as a bloody live chance, and even though they were outsiders, I was getting calls from people going, we might have a bet on this. $2.09, in fact, they were paying. And I couldn't see a reason.
Started well.
Yes, they started well, but Justin was saying they were losing the contested possessions and the loose ball gets, which is a real main driver into if you can get your hands on the ball.
Yes,
they were losing that but they were able to counter-attack off the back line and score really easily. And if you listen to the commentary, Gary Lyon in particular, he was talking about how good Fremantle were going and this could get dangerous for the Western Bulldogs. It went completely the other way.
Because what was the margin in the end? 10 goals or something?
It was 67 points, I think. They were terrible. They didn't get their hands on the ball at all. And this is what I don't get. I watched Justin, and Justin, if you're listening, we're still friends, hopefully. But I don't understand how they never had anyone playing on Marcus Bontempelli. Because you've got to look at, first of all, the history. Okay, every time we play the Western Bulldogs, over the last 6 games, 5 of those games, he's got best on grounds in the Brownlow medal.
And, historically,
okay. So
very good player.
Historically... You would have him in the top 3 best players in the competition?
100%.
Okay.
Like the Bont is so good.
Historically, he kicks our ass every time he plays. Okay, so there's 2.
Why don't we put someone on him?
Not only did no one stand near him, every time he got the ball...
But maybe was there no one good enough to play on? Do you know what I mean? Was somebody on him, but he just shook him?
No, what happened is that the Dockers were playing to their system.
Oh, you've hit a button somewhere.
No, I've hit a button.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, the Dockers were playing to a system, and they decided that, but the Bont decided, okay, well, every time there's a contest, I'll stick around for a second, and then I'll just run forward, and he was just free, and every time he kept getting the ball free, like he's the best player in the comp. What are we doing here? Anyway, we lost by bloody 10 goals, pathetic effort, and they've really got to have a look at themselves. The midfield was so poor, they were so bad, and our man Shaun Darcy, well. I've been in this situation. He was terrible, and he hasn't been great since he's got back. And I know he's been injured, but he needs to have a good look in the mirror.
We still love you, Shaun,
and come out smoking next weekend.
Oh, is there anybody else? Any of our other friends you want to diss?
There's got to be some honesty around this place every now and then. There's got to be some
feedback to your friends.
Yeah. Failures feedback. Yeah. If you're not winning, you're learning. All of it. Let's go.
We've seen all the posters. All right. Are you done, or is there anybody else you want to slander?
Yeah, well, junior footy on the weekend. I'll finish off with that. Oh, no! I can't. Last time I was fined, suspended.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
We have got the big Seabass in the house. And Seabass, we're giving away 3 times Fremantle game memberships for you and a mate. You can
What's
grab your
second
mates
prize?
and see the Sea of Purple search Freo Pass. Now, if the Dockers had have won on the weekend, they would be sitting fourth on the ladder because Collingwood have just got above them by 2 points. So they would have sat fourth on the ladder and be steaming towards a great finals campaign, let alone maybe the possibility of a double chance.
So where are they now?
They are seventh and they sucked on the weekend. And I said to you last week, we were talking about before you left, about what happens when you come off a bye.
The bye curse.
Well, apparently it's this big hoodoo, which I never thought was a thing, but in footy it's huge.
Because, if you think about it, you think they should be better rested. Anybody that's got any niggles has been able to shake them off. They can, they come back fresh. But the opposite happens.
Yeah, I was speaking to someone yesterday, and I always I make that comment. You've heard it before. Iron sharpens iron. So when you're smashing each other all the time, you do that at training.
Yes. So they go soft in their off week. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah,
So
harden the mind, harden the body, all those types of things as we tick the box on. But here's the thing that I was thinking, because Justin's saying that they came back and they were diligent with everything they did. They had great training sessions.
Because
but they
you gave
more.
him some suggestions.
I was that close to ringing him. I was before the week, just to make sure, because this is, I think
And
I
all
said
the
to you,
players
Seba,
are like, shut up, Shaun, shut up, Shaun.
because I just thought that when they come back, you need to be an absolute prick.
Yes, that's right. Go at them
And
really
just
hard.
go way over the top
Yes.
so that everyone's on notice and they know about it. I don't know what the boys did, but clearly they came out and played a very, very poor game over the weekend and now, just fighting out with everybody else. The interesting thing with the AFL, geez, apart from Sydney, who are 3 games clear, there's a game and a half between second and down to about 10th, I think,
Yeah,
at
it's
the
amazing,
moment.
isn't it? It's tight.
Tipping
Yeah.
has never been harder in
I
my
know.
life. And Nat, I think I'm still sitting one above you. What did
Yeah.
you get this week?
5.
Yeah, me too, 5. So there you go. I'll still be above you, which is a fantastic accomplishment for me.
I wouldn't take that as much.
But it's hard. It's hard to pick every week. And even when you hear teams have players out,
Yes.
they still come up
there
and
seems to be a
upset you.
boil over every weekend, or more than one,
No one would have picked Kangaroos yesterday. They had that game shot to pieces.
Yeah.
Well,
amazing.
they didn't end up winning it, so
No.
that's okay.
I know, but
It's
that
okay
was
for our
another
tips,
one.
but
I
yes.
know. When I was
would've
watching the start of it, I was like, oh dear, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It just shows you what a mental game it all is. If
Yeah,
you're
that's
bringing
right.
your best and the opposition have just decided to turn off, 5%, 10%, you are gone.
It's extraordinary the difference in a team from one week to the next. And I mean, we saw,
Yeah, I know.
with the Eagles, they're a really good example. How good were they when they won the Derby?
Very
versus,
good. Excellent.
Playing North Melbourne at home. And you go like, how can that be the same bunch of people? Just a matter of maybe a month apart. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It also goes the other way with Sydney. So Adelaide come out smoking because they've been under a lot of pressure for their performances, and they were well and truly in front. And then Sydney, through what they've been doing all year, which is
they have
turning
been
out,
consistent.
They've got belief. They've got a system.
What about the
they've
Amati
got
party?
confidence.
We're on board.
Well, what did you think about that? So Joe Amati has kicked 9 goals in the game against
benched
Adelaide,
him.
and they benched him.
Give him a rest, why not? Is he going to break some records? Is that why they're thinking like he's getting too close to someone's record to put him off?
Maybe. I don't know what the record is for John Longmire, but I reckon he would have kicked around 9 to 10. So maybe he didn't want, as a coach,
Hilarious.
a guy
Sue Bass is
kicking
nodding
more,
like she
more
knows
goals
the
than
answer.
him.
Yeah, I would totally be like that. If it was me and it was a record that was going to get beaten, I'd be like, you can have a rest. You've done your work now.
Yeah, great job,
work.
mate. Sit,
Yeah.
take a rest.
We'll rest you for 10 next week. It's all good.
What's the most you've scored in a game?
Well,
As if
Janelle
you
Fowler
don't know.
No,
Yes.
I don't, in the 50s, maybe in the 60s, depending. And it's, when you're at a Commonwealth Games and you're playing against a lower-ranked country, and
Yes.
I'm not being mean, but like a Singapore where we will beat them by almost 100 goals.
Yes.
You do. You get a lot of shots off. But Janelle Fowler-Nemmard on the weekend broke the record, 76 goals. Like, when you think about that, in a 60-minute game of netball,
Yes.
she is putting one through the ring more than every minute, and they don't even get every centre pass. Like, that's every second centre
exactly,
pass.
that's right.
It's insane, isn't it?
That is amazing.
And they were absolutely amazing. And the crowd was awesome.
Yeah,
Another
so
record-breaking crowd.
11,200 and something, 76, I think, yesterday. Yeah.
Seabass, when you're playing over the East Coast, what were the crowds like? Because we now know that RAC Arena's filling up. So what was it like there?
The crowds are good. Like, you'll
Yes.
still get big crowds. But say, when I was playing in the Sunshine Coast, our stadium only held about 3,000. So you'd pack it out and it would be
Yes.
an awesome atmosphere. But it wasn't like playing in RSC Arena. And I remember when the Fever first started playing there was about 5,000 or 6,000, which is a great number, but it felt really empty. Whereas yesterday in the stadium,
It was packed to the rafters.
it was buzzing. And I was there the night before for Jerry Seinfeld, and I reckon
What a double.
it felt like there was just as many people in there roaring. You
Yeah.
can't hear yourself, and the excitement that's coming. The Diamonds have announced they're playing their third game
Yes,
here
Constellation Cup,
in WA,
yeah.
and like as a WA athlete, I only ever played 2 games in my 102 game career here in Perth. Like we never
that
play
right?
games here. Yes, we never play games. The last time we played a game here in WA was my 100th game, and that
Yeah.
was in 2019. So it's crazy when you think about the crowds that we attract here in Perth that we don't get more games.
So, did you think that has been a conscious decision because of the crowds have been turning up? They're like, we know this is a solid netball state, and that the crowd will turn up to an Australian
And
match as
Netball
well.
Australia have got no money.
Nah.
I mean, join the dots from that
The
one.
government did chip in some big bucks,
Yes.
which is great. But I just think, when you're going to get the crowds and you know how passionate the WA fans are, why not bring games here? And
we've already got the green, so we're
Yes.
good to go.
just add some gold to that. Happy days.
That's right.
Good stuff. Well done to the Fever. May the ball keep rolling.
Yes.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.